Hi, how's it going? You're here with Mr. Canada, and we're looking at increasing an amount by a percent. This is the multiplier method. So, this is if you get to use a calculator, and everything is fine and dandy, and your calculator works, which really hope it does. As you can see, we are going to take our new increased value, that I'm going to start calling this n, just try and start getting used to this notation so we can kind of save. So new increased value is equal to our original value times by our multiplier. So I sometimes refer to students and say, hey, think about nom, right? If you want to think about percents, they're nom. They're nominal. So just try to think of acronyms that are always easy to remember. So then example 1, we want to increase 17 by 31%. So that means, well, step 1, what are we doing? Find the multiplier. Well, it's increase, so we take 100% and then add, because it's increase, 31%. That gives us 131%, or as a multiplier, and that's why we started going through m last time, m equals, actually, over here, m equals 1.31. Okay, so that's one thing we have right there, all done, right? So we have this 1.31. Okay. So next, step 2, multiply the original value by our multiplier in decimal form. Yeah, sounds about right, because if you look at our equation that we have above, that's really all we have to do, because we're looking for n equals, well, original is 17 times by 1.31. And this will result in, have your calculator, 0.31, 22.27. So 22.27. So one thing I'd like to point out about that whole nom, actually those are the 3 variables that you use to solve any type of percentage problem. And I'll just make a little amendment by saying you'd have to sometimes put m to the power of t when you're dealing with compound. But for the most part, even simple interest, NOM. So, anyways, you'll see why. Increase 75 by 88.5%. So, we're increasing, so that's 188.5%. You should be getting used to being able to find that without really doing calculations, right? Because you're just adding 100. You should be able to add 100. This decreases are a little bit harder. And similarly, you should be able to convert that to a multiplier pretty quickly. So lastly, n equals 75 times by this 1.885. Let's put that in our calculators. And don't ever trust somebody putting it in their calculator. Always do it for yourself. Also, just to make sure that you can match their answer. Because it's great if somebody else can use a calculator, but if you're under a pinch and you have to use the calculator and you don't know how to, then you're going to be kind of out of luck. So here, I'm going to do this all in one go to show you what we can do with this. So n equals, and I just know that's 142, so I'm going to add 100, so that's going to be 2.4275 and times by our 135. So 2.24275 times by 135, and that's going to give us 302.77125. I kept all those digits, probably didn't have to, I could have probably rounded off, but just easy enough just to write them out. Notice that if something increases by 100%, so say if I have $5 and I increase it by 100%, that means I have another $5, right? So if I'm increasing something by 142, you expect it's going to go up a lot more, right? So it's almost 1.5 times more. And so if 135, double that, that's 270. So 302 to 270. Oh yeah, that's probably makes up that last little bit. So, anyways, let's continue on to the next video.